visitors from Lewiston, New York, the Niagara Purple Eagles. Leading off at center field, number 5, Nick Groves. Batting second and catching, number 39, Matt Ward. Batting third in right field, number 4, Gavin Schrader. Batting fourth at first base, number 38, Josh Marquesa. Batting fifth at second base, number 18, Max Giordano. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 6, Cole Tucker. Batting seventh at third base, number 24, Vinny Morrow. Batting eighth in left field, number 14, Jake Hutchins. And batting ninth at shortstop, number 9, Brady Desjardins. Starting pitcher for the Purple Eagles today is number 22, Brady Kopitovich. And now the starting lineup from head coach Jeff Loomis of your Portland Pilots. Leading off in center field, number 4, Jake Holcroft. Batting second at second base, number 7, Jake Sukata. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 13, Nick Klemp. Batting fourth in left field, number 14, Briley Knight. Batting fifth at first base, number 16, Tristan Gomez. Batting sixth in right field, number 9, Henry Mensch. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 2, Evan Scavato. Batting eighth and catching, number 8, Riley McCarthy. And batting ninth at shortstop, number 6, Spencer Scott. Starting pitcher for the Pilots today is number 39, Curtis Hebert.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, yeah. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. VIP coming live from the VIP. Heard the nightlife, I was right for that meat. Multi-dead in the state, wanna see that meat.
Fans, please rise if you are able and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to sunny Portland, Oregon for our season finale, or series finale between the Niagara Purple Eagles and the hometown Portland Pilots. We welcome you inside Joe Edsel Field for our contest today. I'm Brian Slack, and I'll have your call for the series finale. The Pilots are going for the 4-game sweep of Niagara after taking the first 3 games combined 37-8. Niagara, who took the trip west for this series, will try to salvage it by leaving with a win today against The freshman arm on the mound, Curtis Hebert, the right-handed pitcher from Anchorage, Alaska, making his second start on the season, his third appearance. He has an 0-1 record with an 11.57 ERA. Through 4 2/3 innings of work, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .263 against him. Now, he got roughed up in his first outing at Utah Tech, but had a pretty good midweek start last week against the University of Washington, in which he went 3 1/3, giving up 4 hits and only 2 earned runs. Let's get you the starters for Niagara today. In the lineup at center field, leading off, it's Nick Groves. Matt Ward will be batting second behind the plate. Gavin Schrader gets the start out in right field. Josh Marquez, the first baseman, bats cleanup. Max Giordano is batting fifth. Cole Tucker batting sixth. He's a DH today. Vinny Morrow is at third, batting seventh. Jake Hutchins gets the start out in the left field. And then Brady Desjardins, the starting shortstop, will be rounding out the bottom of the lineup. Portland wearing their purple tops today, sleeveless with purple undershirt as the first pitch is fouled off beyond the bullpen for the Portland Pilots. So a strike to start off. Nick Groves, it'll be 0-1. Pilots also wearing their pinstripe pants, purple socks. We'll be seeing a lot of purple on the field today. Ball one thrown by Hebert. It'll be 1-1. Niagara wearing their black tops with purple sleeves. Niagara in white script across the chest with the numbers on the left lower oblique. The 1-1. Hebert missing in the right-handed batter's box again. It'll be 2-1. Three and 1 now after the outside pitch. Let's get you the defense for the Portland Pilots today. The outfield looking pretty normal from what we've seen through most of this season. It's going to be Knight in left, Holcroft in center, then Henry Mensch is out in right. Scavato at third, Scott is at short, Sukata is at second, and then Gomez is over at first as McCarthy will get the start behind the plate today. Klemp will get the start as the designated hitter, but the first man is aboard in Groves with a leadoff walk. Ward, a junior, batting .281, comes to the plate for the first time today. Takes a strike to start him out, 0-1. Ward, a redshirt junior from Mississauga, Ontario. One of a handful of Canadians on the team. McCarthy comes up throwing. It's going to be high and takes Sukata away from the bag. That'll be a stolen base for Groves. Ball issued on that last throw, too, so it'll be 1-1 to Matt Ward. Ward hitting .281 on the year. 9 hits and 32 at-bats. Has 8 RBI and 1 home run. The 1-1 from Hebert. Swung on and missed by Ward. Fastball got by him. It'll be 1-2. Ward in his first 2 seasons with the Purple Eagles only played in 8 games, but last year played in 50 of them. 46 starts, hitting .289 during that time. 25 RBI. He's actually named to the MAAC All-Tournament team, and here he sends one into right field. Coming around third, it's Groves. The throw towards home is going to be all the way to the backstop, taken by Hebert. It's a throw off the mark from home, and it's an RBI single for Matt Ward and an early 1-0 lead for the Niagara Purple Eagles. Quickly already, Niagara on the scoreboard thanks to a stolen base by Nick Groves that put him in scoring position to come in on that last hit. And so Gavin Schrader now comes to the plate. Schrader wearing number 4, freshman from Batavia, New York. Tried to bunt this one, goes foul. He'll start out 0-1. Schrader from New York, ranked the number 4 outfielder in the state of New York, number 58 overall. Was actually a preseason All-American in the Northeast region last season. Slider off the plate. Taken for a ball, 1-1 on Schrader. came in ranked as the number 13th best recruit in the conference coming in. Strike two as he swings that one low and away. Hebert looking for his first out in the first inning. Walked the first batter, he stole a base, and then he came in and scored on an RBI single by Matt Ward. Big strikeout right there by Hebert to get the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Josh Marquesa, the first baseman for the Purple Eagles.
The first baseman, number 3, Josh Marquesa.
Good drop on that last pitch by Hebert out of the zone. Marquesa, grad student from Burnaby, British Columbia. The grad student's batting 129 through 10 games this season. 4 hits and 31 at-bats, 4 RBI, 2 home runs. So 2 of those hits have gone the distance. Just missing there was Hebert, now 2-0 on Marquesa. Marquesa has struggled in this series, though. Just 1 for 11 through the first 3 games with 1 walk to show for it as Hebert throws over to first. Ward not even off the bag. So we'll go back to the 2-0. Wind blowing out today, 6 miles an hour. So we deal with 47 degrees, mostly cloudy today, but as you can tell, sunshine on the field at the Ets as Marquesa takes ball 3. First game this season where we're not going to have to deal with any rain. Each game so far during this homestand, we've dealt with some part of rain throughout as Marquesa takes a strike on the other part of the plate on a slider, 3-1. Ward, decent lead off at first. Here's the 3-1. Marquesa swings at a fastball, can't get around on it. 3-2 now. Marquesa will work himself on with a walk on the full count. So now there's 2 runners on with 1 run already in. And that'll bring up Max Giordano, who's been the most effective hitter for the Purple Eagles in this series. He's 5 for 11 with 2 RBI and a walk. On the season, the senior's batting .361 with 13 hits. That leads this ball club. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, and 13 RBI. Hebert looks back at Ward. Sukata drops back to his position. Giordano lays off the slider that goes off the plate. 1-0. And now you're going to have time called. It's not often you've got 2 underclassmen speaking to each other right now, but Scott, who started 27 games last season, has sort of built up his presence on the diamond, and him and Sukata go to the mound to talk to the freshman arm, trying to calm him down with 1 out and 2 aboard. All he needs is a ground ball right here. You can possibly turn 2 and end this inning with only giving up 1 run. Infield playing back. Slider that went above the letters for a ball. 2-0 now. Inside, almost caught Giordano. Just got out of the way of that one. 3-0 now. Last season, Giordano hit .242 with 46 hits, driving in 30 runs. He appeared in 48 games as he takes a strike right there Took a second for the home plate umpire to call that one. Giordano already tossed his bat thinking it was ball 4. Instead, he'll have to go back into the batter's box, and it's a 3-1 count. Ward with its lead off at second. Giordano fouls it down the right field line and out of play. That'll go across the street and we'll reset on a full count, 3-2. You'd like Hebert to try to keep this ball low, induce a ground ball. He's left the last couple of pitches elevated. Gets a strikeout right there. Second strikeout of the inning. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Cole Tucker, the designated hitter today for the Purple Eagles.
Number 6, Cole Tucker.
Tucker, grad student, batting .323 through 9 games. He's got 10 hits, 31 at-bats, and he's driven in 10 runs as well. As he takes a first pitch ball. Roped into left field. Knight's going to let that bounce in front of him. Takes it off the chest. Comes up throwing towards home. And it's not going to be in time. Coming in and scoring is Matt Ward from second. And it's an RBI single for Cole Tucker. His 3rd RBI in this series. And now the Purple Eagles have an early 2-0 lead.
Number 24, Vinny Morrow.
As Vinny Morrow, the 3rd baseman, will come to the plate. Runners at first and second, as Marquesa is over at second and Tucker at first after that single. Slider for a strike at the knees far side of the plate. Morrow will take strike 1, 0-1. Morrow, a sophomore from Niagara Falls, New York. Played in 34 games with 15 hits and 9 RBI last season. Puts a drive into one. That Knight's going back towards the wall, and it's over the fence. 3-run home run for Vinny Morrow. And the Eagles open up with a 5 spot here in the first inning. Tough start for the freshman on the mound. He left that one at what seemed about belt high on the inner part of the plate. Let's get another look at it right here. Slider that broke right over the middle part of the plate. Morrow all over it as it just goes over the fence. As Jake Hutchins, the left fielder in this game, will step to the plate for only the 4th time in this series. It's 2 for 3 through 3 games. Good news, though, now for Hebert, even though the team is down 5-0. This will give him a chance to work with an empty base path and no runners to worry about. Quickly delivers 2 strikes, and it's 0-2. That's what you would like to see out of this freshman arm, responding after the home run. Seemed like he was more trying to paint corners with runners on. There he just attacks the strike zone. The 0-2 pops out of the glove of McCarthy. Infield will play back. Hebert gets the signal from McCarthy. Just enough of that one to stay alive as Hutchins, so we'll go back to the 1-2 count. Hutchins is a junior from Lima, Ohio, went to Lincoln Trail Community College before finding a home at Niagara. Fouls this back into the netting behind home plate, back to the 1-2 count. Hutchins had 51 hits in only 50 games played for Lincoln Trail Community College. Drove in 39 runs, hitting .342 with 9 home runs. In his first season so far, he's batting .333 as he spoils another pitch from Hebert. The 1-2 in the dirt, blocked by McCarthy off of his chest as it goes away from home. That'll even the count at 2-2. Five runs on 3 hits in this inning. 2 singles, 2 walks, and a home run. Hutchins gets underneath this one, sends it into center field. Holcroft, losing his hat, will make the catch in shallow center field and ends this first inning for Hebert and the Pilots in the field. But 5 runs come in to score thanks to a 3-run home run by Vinny Morrow. And that is the lead for the Purple Eagles. We head to the bottom of the first. Can the Pilots respond? It's Holcroft, Sukata, and Klemp when we return on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Etzo Field. Brian Slyke on the call. A early 5-0 lead for the Niagara Purple Eagles over the Portland Pilots as Brady Kobitowicz is on the mound, making his 4th appearance on the season. His first start has a 4.50 ERA. 2 innings pitched on the year, 5 hits, 3 runs, only one of those earned, 2 walks and a strikeout. Opponents are hitting .417 against him. Now Kobitowicz ended the game on Sunday against the Pilots, throwing 1 inning of work, giving up 2 hits and an earned run during that 12-1 victory for the Pilots. Here's the lineup for Portland. Holcroft leads off. Sukata batting second. Klemp third. Knight is in the cleanup spot. Gomez batting fifth. Mensch sixth. Scavato seventh. McCarthy and Scott will round out the bottom of the lineup for the Pilots today. Holcroft starts out with a first pitch strike. 0-1 quickly from Kobitowicz. Ground ball back up the middle underneath the glove of Kobitowicz. A bit of frustration as he didn't field that one, but a leadoff single for the Pilots. Exactly what Portland needed after giving up that 5 spot in the first inning. Get a leadoff man aboard. They were very successful in the game on Sunday. 3 different times the leadoff man got aboard, scoring 2 of them. Here's the defense for the Purple Eagles. Hutchins in left, Groves in center, Schrader is in right. Morrow, Desjardins, Giordano, and Marquesa. Bunt down the left, or down the third baseline, excuse me. Sukata running down the line, and he's safe. He ran a hard 90, beat the throw from Vinny Morrow, and an infield single by Jake Sukata. And that's the 4th time that's happened in this series. Portland taking advantage of the third baseman playing back behind the bag and laying down a bunt single. The rest of the infield for the Purple Eagles, Marquez is over at first, and then Matt Ward still behind the plate for Niagara. Nick Klemp is at the plate, hitting over 400 on the season so far. Got underneath this one. This one might be the infield fly rule. And it is, and it's going to be caught by Desjardins in shallow center field. So Klemp is retired for the first down in the first inning. That brings up Riley Knight, the left fielder and cleanup hitter for the Pilots. He's hitting .339 this season through 15 games. He's got 20 hits and 15 RBI. The 15 RBI ties him for first with Evan Scavato and Nick Klemp for the team high. Pilots last season found themselves behind early in quite a few ball games, but had some late inning rallies. Come from behind victories as Knight took a breaking ball, sends it foul to our left. It'll be 0-1 to start him off. Knight in this series is 4 for 12 with 4 RBI, 3 runs, and 2 walks. Went 0 for 5 in that game 2 on Saturday. 0-1. Fastball ran away from Knight and high, makes it 1-1 on the senior from Corvallis, Oregon. Outfield playing their normal depth, infield playing back. Fastball high above the letters on Knight, makes it 2-1. Knight patiently waiting. Here's the 2-1. Fouls it back off the netting behind home plate. That'll even the count at 2-2. Knight coming into the series had earned a hit in 11 of the first 12 games of this season. He's gotten hits in 2 out of the 3 games in this series. So 12 out of 15 games this season, he's come up with a hit. Can he make it 13 games in this at-bat? Breaking ball, check swing. Goes above a jumping Mensch into the dugout for Portland. We'll go back to the 2-2 count. Knight led this team with 9 home runs last season. And ever since that opening weekend at Utah Tech in St. George, Utah for the Pilots, the home run ball has not been as large a factor. There's another one fouled off to our left, back to the 2-2 count. Has not been as big a factor into this offense as we've seen in the past. You lost 2 of your bigger bodies up at the plate in Sam Brown and Trace Samaro, 2 power bats from the left side. But Knight still swings a big stick and has an opportunity to lead the team in home runs again. High pitch, check swing, and the third base umpire said that he did not go around. Awfully close, and that'll make it a full count now on Riley Knight. Took a lot of restraint to not go around on that one. Does like those high elevated inside pitches that he can turn on. Full count, runners on first and second. Got an inside pitch, pops this one up though to go behind the plate. Ward chasing it towards the backstop, and he'll make the catch just in front of the net. And Riley Knight will be retired. So after getting the first 2 runners aboard for Portland, you had an infield fly and now a pop-up behind the plate as Tristan Gomez comes to the plate, the first baseman in today's game for Portland.
Number 16, Tristan Gomez.
Gomez, a transfer from Cal State Fullerton. He's played in 12 games this season, 10 hits and 30 at-bats, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 10 RBI. He's hitting .333 in non-conference play. First pitch he sees, fouls it off of Ward. To be 0-1. Henry Mensch is on deck for the Pilots. So one of the hottest hitters in this series with 6 hits already. He had 4 in game 1 on Friday when he took over for Christian Cooney, who unfortunately was hit by a pitch in the helmet area. 0-1. Gomez turns on one down the first baseline, but foul. As it goes off the wall down the right field line and into play. Pilots don't want to squander this opportunity. Again, they got the first 2 runners on in this inning. Since then, they haven't had a ball really leave the infield. They had an infield fly called, but it was in shallow center field. Caught by Desjardins, the shortstop. Gomez pops it up, third base side. Morrow calling everybody off, and no, he misses it. Holcroft, who was running from second, he will score. Gomez is over at first. Sukata's at third. Because of the 2 outs, both runners were going, and it just drops. The wind affecting that one for Morrow, playing it over at third, and so the Pilots now on the board after the error from the third baseman. That'll go down as an E5. Holcroft will come in, and now it's a 5-1 ball game, still in favor of Niagara. But Henry Mensch comes to the plate. Tough play for Morrow. As we've talked about, 6 to 7 mile per hour winds here at Joe Edsel Field. And as it gets higher and higher, it's more difficult to track that ball through the wind, and Morrow just missing it. Keeps this inning going as Mensch takes a first pitch slider for a strike. It's 0-1. Mensch is playing in his 11th game on the season. He's batting .464 though. 13 hits and 28 at-bats with 5 RBI. Now, he came into this series with only 1 RBI. He had 4 in game 1. He's 6 for 10, 4 RBI, 5 runs, and 3 walks. He has absolutely dominated the pitching staff for Niagara at the plate. The 1-1 with runners on the corners. Ground ball up the middle, going to be played by Desjardins behind the bag at second. A quick flip over to Giordano, and that will end the first inning for the Pilots, as they trail 5-1, but they get one across. Brady Desjardins and then Nick Groves, the top of the lineup, and Matt Ward coming to the plate next for the Purple Eagles on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. Top of the second inning, 5-1 in favor of Niagara as Brady Desjardins steps to the plate for his first at-bat. 9th game of the season for him. He's batting $130 with 3 hits and 23 plate appearances. 1 double with 2 RBI. Here he takes a ball to even the count at 1-1. The junior from Westbrook, Maine, hit .239 last season as he takes ball 2 inside at the shins. 2-1. 15 RBI as well. He's a rabbit on the base path. 7 stolen bases a season ago. Fouls this one off to our right. Evens the count at 2-2. It's one of those guys down at the bottom of the lineup who you could almost consider a second leadoff man if he gets on. Hebert settles down at 2-2. Hit back into center field. Holcroft ranging towards the gap in right center field. He'll make the catch in front of the pilot wheel. And there's one away to start off this second inning. As Nick Groves will come to the plate now. Groves walked in the first inning, had a stolen base, and came around to score thanks to that RBI single from Matt Ward. Groves, the freshman from London, Ontario. He's hitting .289 through 10 games with 11 hits, 9 runs, 3 extra base hits, and 2 RBI. The 1-0 from Hebert. Off the plate, far side from the left-handed bat, 2-0. Hebert really trying to catch the black on the outside part of the plate against Groves. Unfortunately, he's been missing. Now falls behind 3-0. Missing a fastball low, gloved by McCarthy, and back-to-back walks issued to Groves. And that'll send up Matt Ward. And we're actually going to have a mound visit with the pitching coach, Connor Lambert. 6-year coach on this staff, Washington State grad from 2010. And we're actually going to have a pitching change. Curtis Hebert's day is done. We'll be right back on the WCC network here at Joe Edsall Field. Pitching change for the Pilots. Ty Saunders is the new arm on the mound, wearing number 5 for Portland. He's making his 3rd appearance on the season with an 11.57 ERA through 2 1/3 innings of work. He's given up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts to just 3 walks, and opponents are hitting .400 against him in his brief appearances. Last outing, he came in relief for Curtis Hebert in that midweek game against the University of Washington. Went an inning and 2/3, giving up 3 hits, 2 earned runs, had 3 strikeouts during that span. Here he's starting out Matt Ward with a ball before throwing over to first. Wind blowing straight out now as Ward chasing a high fastball from Saunders. Empty on that swing, 1-1. As you take a look at that flag, coming from the north going south, so anything that gets caught up high in the air might leave the ballpark today as it carries with the wind. Saunders throwing back over to first, the runner back safely. Runner going for second. Ward spoils that pitch though, as Groves was going for his second stolen base in as many innings. He had a good jump too. 2-1 count after that foul ball. Groves already 4 stolen bases on 5 attempts this season. Ward, line drive out into right field. Mensch, though, ranges to his right. He'll make the catch. And there's 2 away as Groves retreats back to first. And just a loud out right there into right field. And that'll bring up Gavin Schrader. Schrader just 1 for 8 in this series. He struck out and is at bat in the first inning. Schrader only playing in his 9th game on the year. With 3 hits, he's batting .200 coming into today. Saunders painting the black for a strike. 0-1 on Schrader. Hebert responsible for the runner over at first. Throw over. Groves back in head first safely. At the moment, Hebert's stat line is 1 1/3 innings pitched on 41 pitches, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 3 walks. Well hit ball into center field. Holcroft quickly back to the wall. He's going to watch it go into the trees. And Schrader has himself a home run, the second one for the Purple Eagles today. And they tack on 2 more runs and now lead 7-1. That ball left in a hurry, and it doesn't help that the wind is blowing out today. An elevated pitch left by Saunders, and Schrader tattooed it into center, into the deepest part of the ballpark too. 388 dead center. So with 2 outs and the base is now empty, Josh Marquesa comes to the plate. He'll take a first pitch slider on the far side for a strike. 0-1. Marquesa walked his last time up back in the first. He came around to score thanks to the 3-run home run by Vinny Morrow. She takes a ball there. It'll be 1-1. Marquesa just 1 for 11 and 2 walks in this series as he swings through a fastball that was low from Saunders. 1-2. Pilots on a 3-game win streak right now, looking to push it to 4, get the series sweep on Niagara. With the win on Sunday, they clinched their 3rd series out of 4 series this season. The only one they have not won. They split with Utah Valley 2 games apiece. As Saunders missing high and away there, makes it a full count, 3-2. And Marquesa, half-hearted swing, goes down on strikes, and that will end the second inning for Niagara. 2 runs pushed across, though, thanks to a 2-run home run by Gavin Schrader, and it's now 7-1 in favor of Niagara. Scavato, McCarthy, and Scott all come to the plate next on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. One change for Niagara as they take a 7-1 lead. The man who just hit the 2-run home run for the Purple Eagles as Evan Scavato one hops it over to third, taken by Morrow, and delivers in time to get the first out. But the defensive change, Nate Milk is now in for Gavin Schrader in right field. And that is the only change as Riley McCarthy will come to the plate for the first time today. McCarthy, no official at-bat in this series. He has come in as a pinch runner and a defensive replacement. Has a walk and a run in this series so far as he takes a first pitch strike from Kobitowicz. He'll start out 0-1. Only 10 at-bats on the season, 2 hits, 2 runs, and 2 RBI through 7 games played. Desjardins calling everybody off in shallow left center field, and he'll make the catch. McCarthy is retired, and 2 away. That'll bring up Spencer Scott, the shortstop for Portland.
The shortstop, number 6, Spencer Scott.
Scott, a local product from Grant High School here in Portland, Oregon. He's batting .282 in his sophomore season. Through 14 games, he has 11 hits, 2 doubles, and 8 RBI. Strike from Kobitowicz. Start off Scott 0-1. Quickly 0-2. Kobitowicz from Edmonton, Alberta. Got to Niagara via Cloud County Community College. The 0-2 breaking ball ends up in the left-handed batter's box. A lot of movement on that one from Kobitowicz. 1-2 on Scott. Scott just got underneath this one. Shallow left field coming in is Hutchins. He calls off Desjardins, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots at the plate. No runs coming to score off of no hits. Nobody left on. It's 7-1 as we head to the third. Giordano, Tucker, and Morrow all due up on the other side. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field, top of the third inning. The Purple Eagles with a 7-1 lead. They came into this game with only 8 runs in this series combined. They put up 7 in the first 2 innings, 5 in the first thanks to a 3-run home run by Vinny Morrow. They put up 2 in the second thanks to a 2-run home run by Gavin Schrader, who's now been replaced defensively. First pitch here, swung on and fouled off by Giordano. He'll start out 0-1. Giordano 0 for 1 in today's game. Strikeout back in the first inning, but he had easily been the most productive hitter at the plate, just hitting below 500 in the series as he takes ball 1. 5 for 11 with 2 RBI and a walk. He's consistently been getting on as Saunders airmails this one to the backstop for a ball. 2-1. Giordano chasing a fastball high and away. We'll go back to an even count at 2-2. Put his bat out in the strike zone. Knight is back at the wall, and it goes off the wall. The D in Portland bounces away from Knight. Holcroft will take it in left center field, and it's a leadoff double for Max Giordano as he picks up his 6th hit in this series. Didn't look like much off the bat as the pitch from Saunders was away, and it just seemed as if Giordano just threw his bat out there to try to challenge it, and ended up getting a well-hit ball off the wall in left. Squaring to bunt and pulling it back. Called a strike regardless, though. It'll be 0-1 to start off Cole Tucker. Tucker only had 5 at-bats coming into this game. He was 1 for 5 with 2 RBI. Now after his last at-bat, he had an RBI single, and he came around to score. Breaking ball that stayed high. That'll put Tucker ahead in the count, 2-1. Excuse me, 1-1. Sukata keeping an eye on the runner. Scavato now backing up behind the bag at third. Gomez even with the bag at first. Bunt down, fielded by Saunders in front of the mound. They'll get it over to first. Runner moves over to third, and he's now 90 feet away from scoring after the sacrifice bunt. As Vinny Morrow, who was 2 for 11 coming into his last at-bat, hit a towering home run into left that Briley Knight just could only stand there and watch go over the wall. And that made him 3 for 12 on the series, now with 3 RBI. All on that one swing. Infield brought in with the runner over at third. Fouled back into our netting behind home plate, 0-1. McCarthy doing a good enough job of gloving that one so it didn't get away, keeping the runner over at third. Now Morrow's father, Jim, was the former coach at Niagara before their current coach. As he lines one into center field, Holcroft will make the catch on the run. There will be no play at the plate. It'll be a sacrifice fly RBI for Morrow as he gets his 4th RBI on the day. And there's 2 gone, and an 8-1 lead for Niagara.
The left fielder, number 14, Jake Hutchins.
Hutchins, the left fielder today, will come to the plate for the 2nd time. He flew out to Holcroft to end the 1st inning, and his only at-bat so far. Saunders delivers a first pitch strike, far side of the plate, knee high. It's 0-1. Saunders quick pitching. It'll be 2-1 now after that last pitch from Saunders. No arms up in the bullpen right now for Portland. Does seem to be a couple of bodies in the bullpen for Niagara. Hutchins gets on top of that one and past a diving Evan Scavato at third and into left field. So a 2-out single for Hutchins keeps the inning going for Niagara.
The shortstop, number 9, Brady Desjardins.
Brady Desjardins stepping to the plate. He's 0 for 1 today. He too flew out to Jake Holcroft. He was the first out in the 2nd inning. So he's getting his 2nd plate appearance here in the 3rd. First pitch from Saunders just off the plate. Far side from the right-handed bat. It'll be 1-0. Desjardins, former two-sport athlete back in high school, as he takes a strike there to even the count. Former hockey player as well up in Maine. Throw over to first. Gomez gloves that one. No tag is applied. Another ball missing there. It'll be 2-1 on Desjardins. Small lead over at first right now for Hutchins. Slider stayed high. 3-1 now on Desjardins. Hutchins over at first had 7 stolen bases at Lincoln Trail Community College, as this one was fouled off. So now a full count, 3-2. You can expect the runner to be going with 2 outs. And that's Hutchins over at first. Saunders coming home with it. Strike 3. Delayed call from the home plate umpire ends up with straining the runner over at first. But a run comes in to score thanks to a sacrifice fly by Vinny Morrow, his 4th RBI on the day, as the Purple Eagles hold on to an 8-1 lead. We head to the 3rd. Top of the lineup, Holcroft, Sukata, and Klemp on the WCC Network. Jake Holcroft leading us off here in the bottom of the 3rd inning as Brady Kobitowicz comes out for his 3rd inning of work. He's dealing with a comfortable 8-1 lead that has been built up with 5 runs in the first, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third for the Purple Eagles. They have tied their series total against the Pilots as Jake Holcroft gets his 2nd single of the day, this time a chopper into right field. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Pilots here in the 3rd. Holcroft did score back in the 1st when he was the leadoff man. Things usually work out that way for Holcroft. 16 runs on the season. There's only one Pilot with more, and that's Nick Klemp. But Holcroft now with 22 hits on the year. 9 of those have gone for extra base hits. So he got a good lead over at the bag at first. Sukata, ground ball hit over to second and off the glove of Giordano, and he'll still get Sukata over at first. So they can't turn the double play, but they will get the force out at first. As he stays with it, Klemp will now come to the plate. Another look at it. Elevated that Sukata turned on. Fast one that Giordano just couldn't cleanly handle, but stayed with it and got Sukata. So the lead man is at second, 180 feet away from scoring now. Klemp the last time up, infield fly rule. So he's 0 for 1 today. No movement from the catcher. in the batter's box, as that one just missed him inside. 1-0 to start off this at-bat. Played in every game so far this season. He's batting .450. Senior from Everett, Washington. Ground ball hit to the left side. And thrown out by the shortstop, Desjardins, and 2 gone now. As that brings up Briley Knight, as Holcroft, again, 90 feet away from scoring. Pilots would love to at least get one more run here in the third. Knight popped out to the catcher his first time up. For today, though, Knight was 4 for 12 in this series with 4 RBI, 3 runs scored, and 2 walks. Breaking ball, blocked by Ward. Holcroft is going to stay at third, so Knight will start out with a 1-0 count. You're going to get somewhat of a shift right now with Knight at the plate. Not a large one with Holcroft over at third, but the second baseman, Giordano's in shallow right field. And then Desjardins, the shortstop, is playing just to the left of second base right now. The big hole on the left side. Breaking ball near the knees for a strike. Evens the count on Knight, 1-1. Pilots have a long way to come back in this one to try to get their 4th straight win and a series sweep. As Knight steps back into the box, Holcroft with his lead off at third. Holcroft had a good swing right there, but fouls it off behind us for a strike. 2-2. Trying to drive in another run for Portland as they trail 8-1. Pilots had outscored Niagara 37-8 through the first 3 games. 19-2 in game 1. 6-5 in game 2, in which it went 10 innings. Briley Knight, ground ball hit over to first, handled by Marquesa. And that will end the Pilots' threat here in the third. They strand Holcroft over at third. No runs come in to score as we head to the 4th inning. Coming to the plate, it's the top of the lineup, Groves, Ward, and Schrader on the WCC Network. We welcome you back to Joe Edsel Field here on the campus of the University of Portland. Brian Slyke with the call. It's an 8-1 lead for Niagara over the Portland Pilots. As Ty Saunders back out on the mound for another inning of work, going up against Nick Groves, who has no official at-bat on the day, but he does have a couple of walks, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base to his name in today's game. The 1-1. Slipped out of the hand of Saunders for a ball. Makes it 2-1. Groves chasing a high fastball from Saunders. Seen the Pilots leave a couple of pitches elevated that have been hit pretty hard off the wall and over the wall for the Purple Eagles today. Saunders' slider pops out of the glove of McCarthy. Full count now on Groves. He's on the verge of getting on with his third walk today. It would be his 6th walk in this series. Instead, he fouls this one off, and now we've got a full count, 3-2. And ball 4 to Grove, so he gets on via the walk for the 3rd time today. He has scored the other 2 times. And we'll see if that trend continues as Matt Ward will now come to the plate. Groves is doing exactly what a leadoff man is supposed to do, and that's get on base any way possible. And he's done that 3 times via the walk. Scavato now brought in front of the bag at third, hugging that line as Ward fouls off the first pitch to our right across the street. It's 0-1. Ward had an RBI single in the first that drove in Groves. His last time up, line drive out to Henry Mention right. Takes a strike here at the knees, far side of the plate. Falls behind 0-2. There is an arm warming up in the bullpen right now for Portland. If Saunders can't get out of this inning, delivers a fastball high. First ball to Ward in this at-bat, 1-2. Carter Gaston is the arm warming up for Portland. A throw over. I should say a fake throw over. 1-2 again. Ward, ground ball over to third, taken by Scavato. Just got it out in time to get it over to Sukata for the first out. Ward running that hard 90 will be safe on the fielder's choice. But Groves will not come home as he's the first out over at second, and that'll bring up Nate Milk, who's in for Gavin Schrader. Correction, no Schrader at the plate. Milk will come up to bat next. Schrader takes a first pitch strike. Schrader's 1 for 2 today, struck out in the first inning, and then he had that 2-run home run in the second, which put the lead to 7-1 in favor of Niagara. Slider called a strike. Now 0-2 on Schrader. Another high fly ball into right field. Mensch is going to watch this one go over the fence. Does it stay fair? And it does. A 2-home run day for Gavin Schrader. One to dead center, and this time over the field or over the wall in right field. 4 RBI on 2 home runs. It's now a 10-1 lead for the Purple Eagles.
Right fielder, number 15, Nate Milk.
As Nate Milk now comes to the plate. First pitch in for a ball. Start off this at-bat 1-0. Ground ball hit over to the left side and off the heel of the glove of Spencer Scott as he was trying to round out to get to that ball. Instead, it'll be an error, and the inning will stay alive as Nate Milk able to get on base. And that'll bring up number 18, Max Giordano, who doubled his last time up. It's 1 for 2 today with that double. He came around to score thanks to that sacrifice fly from Vinny Morrow. Milk came in for Marquesa. There were some defensive changes that were not relayed, so some of that has changed. And we'll give you those updates as soon as we get them, as this one missing inside on Giordano. The 1-1 from Saunders. High fly ball into center. Holcroft near the warning track, put his hand on the fence, and that one is gone. Fourth home run of the day for Niagara. Third different player to do it. Giordano cashes in this time. Another 2-run home run for the Purple Eagles, and it's now 12-1. Niagara certainly getting back into the scoring column after being outscored 37-8 through the first 3 games of this series. And that'll bring up Cole Tucker, the DH. But first, we're going to have a mound visit. Ty Saunders' day is done, and Carter Gaston will come to the mound for the Pilots next. We're going to take a quick break on the WCC Network. New pitcher on the mound is Carter Gaston, wearing number 36 for Portland, as he's making his 4th appearance on the season, a 15.43 ERA. Through 2 1/3 innings of work, he's given up 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .538 against him, as the first batter he goes up against is Cole Tucker, who is 1 for 1 today with an RBI single and a sacrifice bunt, as he quickly falls behind 0-2. Tucker laying his bat down on the plate with an open stance from the right side. Gaston's slider stays high and away for a ball. first one of this at-bat. It'll be 1-2. Gaston, a freshman from Kelso, Washington, with the Kelso High School. Missing this one in the left-handed batter's box. That'll even the count at 2-2. One hopper into right field. And Cole Tucker has his second hit of the day. A single. And that'll bring up Vinny Morrow, who has had the hottest bat of anybody so far. He's got 4 RBI in this game alone. He was 2 for 11 coming in. 1 for 1 with 4 RBI and a home run in today's game alone. So we're dealing with about 50 degrees right now here at Joe Edsel Field. 7-mile-an-hour winds as Morrow takes a strike on the first one he sees from Gaston, 0-1. That wind has been blowing straight out, but now we're seeing some of it blow from right to left field. Breaking ball falls in for a strike, 0-2. Gaston peeking over his shoulder. He'll come home with it. Morrow, ground ball over to short, taken by Scott. Over to Sukata for 1, and the relay throw, not in time. Morrow knew he was safe, but he reaches on the fielder's choice as the double play not turned quick enough. And that'll make 2 outs now as Jake Hutchins will come to the plate.
Left fielder, number 14, Jake Hutchins.
You'll see on this replay, and yeah, he did. Glove, and didn't see the pop of that ball until after the base runner stepped on the bag. 0-1 on the first pitch as Hutchins fouls it off. Hutchins in limited action was 2 for 3 in this series through 3 games. Is 1 for 2 today. A fly out to Holcroft in center back in the first, and then he singled his last time up in the third where he was left stranded. The 0-1. Chopper over to short. Scott stays behind it, throws it over to Sukata for the force out at second. And that will end the 4th inning, but 4 runs come in to score. It's now 12-1 in favor of Niagara. Gomez, Mensch, and Scavato coming to the plate for the Pilots next on the WCC Network. The Pilots are going to need something to go in their favor soon as they trail 12-1 here in the 4th inning. So we welcome you back to Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slyke on the call for the series finale between the Niagara Purple Eagles and the Portland Pilots. Tristan Gomez stepping to the plate to start off the bottom of the 4th. He had an RBI his last time up in the first, and he reached thanks to an error. Takes a strike right there, now falls behind 0-2. The error by the third baseman, Vinny Morrow. on a big league pop-up that stayed on the infield, but the wind making it difficult for him to track, and he misjudged the ball. And the pop-up landed on the infield. The 0-2, almost a chase on the high fastball. Did not go around. Called a ball. 1-2 on Gomez. Gomez came into today hitting 2 for 5 in this series with 2 RBI. Strike 3 on a breaking ball. He knew it. Head down, walks back to the dugout, goes down with a strikeout looking, and that'll bring up Henry Mensch.
The right fielder, number 9, Henry Mensch.
Mensch from Seattle, Washington, O'Dea High School has had a terrific series so far. He's batting .600 before his last at-bat. 6 for 10, 4 RBI, 5 runs, and 3 walks. Lays off the first pitch that's nearly in the dirt, far side of the plate, 1-0. Kobitowicz has been lights out after he gave up that 1 run in the game on Sunday. Here he delivers a strike to Mensch to even the count at 1-1. So far in this one, 3 1/3 innings of work, only 3 hits, 1 run, it's not earned, and then 1 strikeout. He's kept the Pilots in check so far. Another breaking ball, this time it falls in for a strike on Mensch, 1-2. His only real trouble was in the first inning when he allowed 2 singles. One was an actual single from Holcroft. Not that Tsukada's wasn't an actual single, but it was a bunt infield single. This one in the dirt. That'll make it 2-2 now on Mensch. But Holcroft's got 2 of the 3 hits for the Pilots, and he's the leadoff man. Rest of the lineup has 1 hit. 2-2 to Mensch. Fouls it off just enough to stay alive as it goes back to the backstop. This is the last non-conference series for the Pilots. They'll have their midweek games against Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington State, but those aren't series. Those are just single games. The 2-2 to Mensch. Almost chased. Called the ball. Now he works himself to a full count. But after this game, the Pilots start West Coast Conference play against the Pepperdine Waves, a team that they ended their regular season with last year. And it was a tight race at the top of the conference as Mensch drives one into right field, stays high enough for Nate Milk to get into the right position, takes a stab at it, and gets the out. 2 away here in the 4th. And that'll bring up Evan Scavato, who's 0 for 1 today, grounded out to third to Vinny Morrow. But as I was saying before that last at-bat by Mensch, Pilots had a chance to be in first place at the end of the regular season, but they needed a little bit of help. Scavato takes strike 1 here, 0-1. They had to win 2 of 3 against Pepperdine, and then Gonzaga had to lose all 3. Now, things worked out in game 1 of that series. Scavato swings and misses there, quickly behind 0-2 as the Pilots took game 1 against the Waves. Gonzaga lost game 1 against their opponent. And then Gonzaga won the last 2, Portland lost the last 2, and that solidified the number 1 seed for the Bulldogs and the number 2 seed for the Pilots. Scavato laying off of that one in the left-handed batter's box, 1-2. Pilots made a trip to the WCC tournament last year, their first time, especially with the expanded field as they had the 2 seed. Scavato goes down on strikes. That one looked a little wide, but he goes down looking. A 1-2-3 inning for the Pilots up at the plate. No runs come in to score. They continue to trail 12-1 as we head to the 5th inning. Desjardins will lead things off for the Purple Eagles, and it's Groves and Ward on the WCC Network.
number 9, Brady.
Welcome back to Joe Etzo Field, top of the 5th inning, as the Purple Eagles lead 12-1 over the Portland Pilots. The Pilots are trying to get the series sweep today. First pitch here, fouled off by Desjardins onto the right field grassy berm. 0-1. Unfortunately, though, Niagara's bats have woken up in Game 4 of this series after trailing in the run department 37-8 through the first 3 games. They have exploded for 12 runs in the first 4 innings. As Desjardins' half-hearted swing right there on the low pitch from Gaston makes it 0-2. Chopper on the left side. Scott will take it on the up hop. Quick throw over to first, and that will get Desjardins and the first out to start off the 5th inning. Now we go back to the top of the lineup to Nick Groves, who's got 3 walks today, 6 walks in this series. It's 3 for 9 with 2 runs. Actually make it 4 runs after scoring twice in his first 2 times on base today. Gaston starts him off with a strike. Chopper back up the middle. It's going to be played by Scott behind the bag. Low throw picked by Gomez, and it got them. 2 out. Terrific play right there by Spencer Scott and Tristan Gomez to get the pick on the low throw.
That catcher, number 39, Matt Ward.
Pilots trying to get their first 1-2-3 inning out of the Purple Eagles. They can do that by getting Matt Ward out. Ward, it's 1 for 3 today. Had an RBI single in the first that scored Nick Groves. Since then, a fly out to Henry Mention right. Then he reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th where he came around to score. Thanks to Gavin Schrader's 2-run home run, his 2nd of today's game. As Ward behind 0 and, well, it's 1-1 now. Ground ball over to short again, played by Scott behind the bag at second. And that'll do it. 1, 2, 3. All 3 plays made by Spencer Scott over at short. As we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, it's McCarthy, Spencer Scott, and Jake Holcroft all coming to the plate when we return on the WCC Network. Riley McCarthy leads off the bottom of the 5th inning for the Pilots. As he swings at the first pitch he sees, coming in and making the catch on the run is Nick Groves from center field. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Kobitowicz on the mound. And that makes 7 straight outs now for the Pilots as Spencer Scott comes to the plate. Scott is 0 for 1 today with a fly out to left field to Jake Hutchins. First pitch breaking ball in at the belt, far side of the plate, 0-1. On the series, he's 4 for 7, 2 RBI and 2 runs scored. Right now, I think the Pilots just want a base runner to try to get any offense going. High chopper over to third, coming in as Morrow, fields it. Low throw taken in by Schrader, who's now over at first. And there's 2 away. As we go back to the top of the lineup to Jake Holcroft, he's 2 for 2 today. He's got 2 of the 3 hits for the Pilots. Both of them are singles. He scored thanks to Tristan Gomez, who put the ball in play, reached on an error, but Holcroft came in and scored. And then the other time he singled, he was left stranded over at third. He was the last base runner for the Pilots. That was in the 3rd inning. 8 straight outs as Kobitowicz airmails that one to the backstop for a ball. 2-0 on Holcroft. A slight shift put on. Second baseman Giordano is in shallow right field as Holcroft takes ball 3. And then Desjardins, the shortstop, is playing closer to the bag at second than his normal shortstop position, leaving a big hole on the left side. Now we know that Holcroft takes advantage of all parts of the plate. Inside, hesitated on throwing the bat because of delayed calls from the home plate umpire, but Holcroft gets on for the 3rd time today, this time via the walk. Jake Sukata at the plate. The junior from Honolulu, Hawaii, is 1 for 2 today. Single in the first. He grounded out to second back in the 3rd. On a tough play for Max Giordano, who it was fast ground ball, 1 hopper to him, went off the heel of his glove, but he stayed with it to get the out at first on Sukata. Could have been a double play with how hard that ball was hit, but because he didn't field it cleanly, it allowed Holcroft to move up to second. They're going to keep that modified shift right now with the left-handed bat of Sukata at the plate. As he takes ball 2, that stayed high above the letters and away. Giordano in shallow right field. Desjardins again just to the left of second base as we're looking out at the field. Holcroft with a decent lead. Looks to be about 6 feet off the bag. Sukata taking a ball. Just missing out of the zone as Ward could not frame that one up. Kobitowicz, again, terrific outing for him. Only 3 hits in 4 2/3 innings. The 1 run he gave up is unearned. Sukata takes a breaking ball inside for a strike. About thigh high. It'll be 2-2. Clouds have blocked the suns here at Joe Etzel Field. We had the rays of sunshine peeking through as Sukata fouls this one off. We'll go back to the 2-2. We've not been fortunate enough to see the sun all that often during this homestand for the Pilots. In fact, in almost every game that we've had here, we've had some type of rain, whether we've had to move a game, we've had to postpone a game, or just play through it. But this is the first time that there's been no rain at the ballpark for the Pilots for their home season. That's full count now on Sukata after he takes a high ball. Full count, 3-2. And now you're going to have the first baseman Schrader off the bag. Nobody's going to keep Holcroft on. He'll be moving with 2 outs in the full count. Defense expecting a pull from Sukata. And ball 4. Good eye from Sukata. So back-to-back walks issued by Kobitowicz. Runners on first and second, and that brings up Nick Klemp, who's 0 for 2 today, an infield fly, and then he also grounded out to Brady Desjardins, the shortstop. And now we're going to have a mound visit for Niagara. Kobitowicz has had a good outing. This is the toughest spot that he has been in since the first inning when both Holcroft and Sukata got on base to start the game for the Pilots. Now there's some bodies on the fence in the bullpen for Niagara. We can see down the line. And it doesn't look like we'll have a pitching change. They're going to let Kobitowicz try to end this inning with 2 outs. Already up on the scoreboard with Nick Klemp coming to the plate. Now he's the best hitter so far early on in this season. He's batting .450 through the first 15 games of the year with 27 hits. Klemp in this series 4 for 10 with 5 RBI and 3 walks. Fastball inside, just gets out of the way of that one. He'll start out 1-0. Base hit, scores at least 1 with Holcroft over at second. You know he's got the speed. Sukata's not slow over at first either. Depending on where he hits it, he could end up at home as well. The 1-0. Klemp got one inside, sends it into shallow center field. Nick Groves is going to make the catch. And the Pilots strand 2 aboard. No runs come in to score. As it remains 12-1, we head to the 6th inning, middle of the order. Schrader, Milk, and Giordano will come to the plate next on the WCC Network. Carter Gaston back on the mound to work for the Portland Pilots as they trail 12-1. It's Gavin Schrader, who's having himself a day, was 1 for 7 coming into this series. Or I should say coming into today, he was 1 for 7 in this series. As he takes ball 2 inside, just off the plate, 2-0. 2 for 3 today with 4 RBI and 2 home runs. Schrader coming into today had 3 total hits and 3 RBI. Gets fooled on the off speed from Gaston, 1-1. Schrader started the day out in right field. Moved over to first when Nate Milk came in for Josh Marquesa. Schrader taking a ball, now makes it 2-1. Ground ball over to short, taken by Pataxel, who just came in defensively. The spin behind the bag gets him over at first. So 4 straight plays by the shortstop. The last 3 were made by Spencer Scott, but Ben Pataxel comes in as a defensive replacement in this inning. And that is the difference right there. As Scott is replaced by Pataxel, they get the out over at first. And now that brings up Nate Milk, who is 0 for 1 today. Milk reached on an error by Spencer Scott. Hits one out into deep right field. Mensch takes his drop steps back. Now he comes in, makes the catch. 2 away after the fly out to right field. And that'll bring up Max Giordano. Came into today as the hottest hitter in this series for Niagara. 5 for 11, 2 RBI and a walk. In today's game alone, he's already 2 for 3, a double and a home run with 2 RBI. The only time he did not reach base was a strikeout. Here he puts one that could fall into the gap. No, cutting it off and making the catch is Henry Mensch in right center field. So back-to-back flyouts to the right fielder in another 1-2-3 inning for the Purple Eagles. No runs coming to score, no hits. It remains 12-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Coming to the plate for the Pilots, it'll be Briley Knight, Tristan Gomez, and Henry Mensch when we return.
To secure your spot today. A reminder, fans, be alert for balls leaving the field of play at any moment.
Niagara. Near Niagara Falls? Oh, but, oh, so okay. Wow, you guys came a long way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's snowing here now.
Welcome. I've been to Niagara Falls.
We're from all over though. We're from San Fran. We're from Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, really? Really? And you stayed an extra day because of the rain yesterday?
Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field. There's a new arm on the mound for the Purple Eagles. It's number 13, Zach Laird, who comes in for his 3rd appearance against the Pilots in this 4-game series that has taken place over 5 days. He's gone through 3 innings of work in 4 outings this season. He's got 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, and has a 0 ERA on the season so far. Laird, a lefty, seems to be their firearm out of the bullpen, as, again, this is the 3rd time that we've seen him on the rubber in this series. Briley Knight starts him off. Quickly ahead, 2-0. Breaking ball. Knight got out ahead of it, and they're going to say that one went off of home plate. That's why there's no play out in the field. So a foul ball. It'll be 2-1. I don't think you could have asked for a better outing out of Brady Kubitowicz today. His line, 5 innings of work, 57 pitches, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So a terrific outing for him. And he's certainly in line for the W, as his team is up 12-1. Briley Knight taking strike 2 on a breaking ball down at the knees, 2-2. Defense playing back for Niagara. 2-2 on Knight. That challenge with a fastball. He fouls it off to our left. We'll reset with the 2-2 count. Knight so far today, he's 0 for 2. Popped down behind the plate to the catcher with 2 runners on, and then his last time up, hit a ground ball that was fielded by Josh Marquesa when he was in the game. That stranded Holcroft over at the bag at third. Here's the 2-2. Fights off the inside pitch and fouls it off again to our left. And out of play, we'll go back to the 2-2 count. Four for 12 in this series. And 4 RBI as well. He'd be leading the way if Evan Scavato didn't get so hot the other day with 7 RBI. Breaking ball that hung up in the air. Drive into center field. Dropping back and making the catch is Nick Groves. As Knight records the first out on a fly ball into center field. And that'll bring up Tristan Gomez. Correction, we're going to have a pinch hitter. It's going to be Zach Tolia now in the game for Tristan Gomez. Tolia hit the first home run for a Pilot at Joe Etzel Field this season. In yesterday's game, back in the 8th inning, a solo home run pushed that lead to 12-1 in favor of the Pilots yesterday. They currently trail 12-1 today against Niagara as Laird has a breaking ball that misses the zone. Starts out Tolia 1-0. Pops this one up on the infield. Ward throwing his mask, calls everybody off, and no, it goes off of his glove into fair territory. Second time today we've seen Niagara struggle with an infield pop-up with the wind. And Tolia is going to reach with the error on the catcher. Twice now, the wind has affected the infield for Niagara. And here's another look at it. And he's calling off his third baseman, Morrow. And it looked like the wind, the last second, blew it behind his head. He was looking to make that catch over his shoulder or in front of him, but the wind blew it behind him, making it difficult and popping out of his glove. So the error leads to the first man aboard here in the bottom of the 6th for the Pilots as Henry Mensch steps to the plate and takes ball 1 near the feet. Mensch is 0 for 2 today. Fielder's choice back in the first, which stranded those runners on base for Portland. Then his last time up, he flew out to right field, part of a 1-2-3 fourth for the Pilots. Here he takes strike 1 of this at-bat. Now it's 1-1. No movement from the outfield or the infield really for Niagara. With Mensch at the plate, the 1-1 challenge, fastball away. Not enough bat for Mensch on that swing, makes it 1-2. Only 3 hits today for Portland. .36 hits coming into today. Breaking ball on Mensch, called a strike. Dropped right in the zone, and he'll head back to the dugout with a strikeout looking. As Evan Scavato will come to the plate. Scavato 0 for 2 today. Ground out to third back in the 2nd inning, and then he struck out looking, part of that 1-2-3 4th inning for the Pilots at the plate. He's driven in the most runs in this series, though. 7 RBI, 5 runs scored. He's 3 for 7. Breaking ball from Laird. Ends up missing the plate in the left-handed batter's box. Makes it 1-0 to start off Scavato. Pilots already won this series yesterday with their 12-1 victory. Now Niagara just trying to get a win on their West Coast road trip. High fly ball hit into center field. Nick Groves has a beat on it, takes a couple steps back. He'll make the catch over his shoulder, and runner gets straighted on, and Tolia Scavato flies out to center field, and no runs coming to score for the Pilots. It remains 12-1 as we head to the 7th. Tucker, Morrow, and Hutchins coming to the plate for the Purple Eagles when we return. Top of the 7th inning here at Joe Edsel Field. Brian Slyke on the call. It's Carter Gaston's first pitch. Slider just missing Cole Tucker in the right-handed batter's box. He'll start out with a 1-0 count. Check swing that he wanted back, called a strike. It'll be 1-1. There have been some changes defensively for the Pilots. We'll give you them right after this next pitch from Gaston. The 1-1 to Tucker. Missing low out of the zone, makes it 2-1. The outfield looking the same. It's still Knight, Holcroft, and Mensch from left to right. The infield, though, it's Scavato at third. Pataxil has come in defensively at short. Sukata's at second. Strike called right there on Tucker, makes it 2-2. Gomez was just hit for by Zach Tolia, so Tolia's over at first. And then Tyler Howard, the freshman, takes over behind the plate as he was replacing Riley McCarthy. Tucker, ground ball over to third, played by Scavato, diving stop in the hole, and delivers the throw in time. They get Cole Tucker, and Evan Scavato having a terrific defensive performance in this series, already making a couple of diving plays. Let's take another look. This is a guy that's been playing outfield in the early part of the season. In this series, though, we see him over at third, and he's just been making plays nonstop. So he makes another one right there. So Morrow now up at the plate. Started out hot, had a 3-run home run in the first inning that went over the head of Briley Knight. Takes a strike there to even the count at 1-1. Since then, he's had a sacrifice fly back in the third inning, and then a fielder's choice back in the fourth, where he reached base. Took an elevated slider, fouls it off to our right and out of play. Tolia was giving chase. It's now 1-2. Off the end of the bat, Howard coming out from behind the plate to get to it. Low throw, and Tolia can't handle it. Would have been a difficult play for Zach Tolia to make on the low throw from Howard. So the runner's going to reach.
Number 14, Jake Hutchins.
Jake Hutchins will now come to the plate for what is his fourth at-bat of the day. He's 1 for 3. Hutchins fouls that one off. Start out 0-1. Hutchins, big swing and a miss right there. Looked like he was going for the fences. They're going to give Morrow a hit. So an infield single for him. Morrow's got a decent lead off the bag at first with 2 strikes on Hutchins. Gaston peeking over his shoulder. He'll come home with it. Check swing. Howard blocks that one. Call the ball. It'll be 1-2. Ground ball hit over to short. Backhanded by Pataxel. Quickly to Sukata for 1. The relay throw not going to be in time, as Hutchins was running a hard 90 to reach it on the fielder's choice, but there's 2 away now for the 9-hole hitter Brady Desjardins. Here's another look at it. Would have been a difficult play as Pataxel backhanded that one from short and then had to throw across his body. Yeah, a full step right there by Hutchins, it looked like. As Desjardins steps to the plate, 0 for 3 today. Fly out to Holcroft back in the second, struck out in the third, and then a ground out in the 5th inning over to Spencer Scott. Breaking ball falls in for a strike on the inner half of the plate. Evens the count at 1-1. Ground ball up the middle off the mound. Desjardins has his first hit of this series. He was 0 for 11 coming into that at-bat. And now there's 2 aboard with 2 outs as we go back to the top of the lineup to arguably one of the hardest outs so far today. Nick Groves, who is 0 for 1, but he's got 3 walks, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base. His last time up, though, he grounded out to Ben Pataxel. Gaston looks back at the runner at second, steps off the rubber. That'll be his one and only time that he can step off without throwing the ball. Check swing, called a strike. Dropped into the zone regardless, so 0-1 to start off Groves in this at-bat. Gaston missing high. No arm warming up in the bullpen right now for Portland. And with the 2 outs already for Gaston here in the top of the 7th, they'll just let him finish off this inning. We might see 1 more arm. That's because of how long Gaston has already been going. The 1-1. A lot of movement on that slider. In fact, so much it's getting out of the way of Howard. Time called because I believe that actually hit the foot of Groves, the batter. So both runners have to stay put. 2-1 count. Strike 2 called on Groves. Be nice to get out of this inning without giving up another run. Be 3 straight innings without a run up on the board for Niagara. They scored 5 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 4 in the fourth. As Groves fights off an outside pitch that goes off the netting next to the dugout for Portland. We'll go back to the 2-2 count. Two-two. Bloop shot into shallow right field. Sukata trying to run to it. Mensch lets it bounce in front of him. Now he's going to come up throwing towards home. And no play able to be made. Coming in and scoring is Jake Hutchins. And with 2 outs, everybody was running. And now there's runners on the corners as Desjardins moved up to third on the RBI single from Nick Groves as he reaches base for the 4th time today. Howard out in front of the plate right now to give the signals to the infield with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Looks like KJ Rufo is warming up in the bullpen now for Portland. Ward drives one into left center field. This one is going to drop. 1 run scores into Jardins from third. Groves is going to be held up at third. It's a relay throw, gets into Ben Pataxo, and it's an RBI double for Matt Ward. His second RBI of the day and his second hit as well. And now there's runners at second and third. 2 runs have now come in, and it's 14-1 in favor of Niagara. Gavin Schrader comes to the plate. He's 2 for 4 today. Time called by Tyler Howard. So you're having the 2 freshmen right now. Gaston, a freshman from Kelso, Washington. And then you've got Tyler Howard, the freshman catcher from Vancouver, Washington, went to Skyview High School. Two underclassmen trying to work themselves through this tough inning right now. You got the first 2 outs thanks to a ground out, and then fielder's choice after a single from Vinny Morrow. And I think now we're going to have that pitching change. Yep. As we see Coach Valentine give the point over to the bullpen. KJ Rufo is going to come in, and Connor Gaston's day is done. We're going to take a quick break on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Edsel Field, top of the 7th inning. 2 outs right now as Gavin Schrader steps to the plate as he faces the new arm in KJ Rufo. Rufo only making his 2nd appearance on the season. He's thrown through 3 innings of work, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .111 against him. His 1 appearance came back in the first series of the season against Utah Tech. So he had a good outing there. Last year, Rufo made 9 appearances with 1 start, throwing 14 innings. He gave up 22 hits, 21 earned runs. He had a bit of trouble finding the strike zone, though. 17 walks to 10 strikeouts. And this one is fouled back for a second strike on Schrader. So far early on, what the coaching staff has seen is Rufo being more effective in the strike zone. Now he can pump some heat. He reaches up near 90 miles an hour. And that's what they liked about him, having two-way as a catcher and an arm on the mound. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball hit over to Jake Sukata. Patiently waits for it, and the easy throw over to first will end this 7th inning, but not before 2 runs come in to score. And the Purple Eagles add on to their lead. It's 14-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th. It's going to be Howard, Pataxel, and Holcroft when we return. Bottom of the 7th inning here at Joe Etzel Field as we just finished up the 7th inning stretch. The Pilots are trailing 14-1 as Tyler Howard steps to the plate for his first plate appearance on the day. As he takes over defensively for Riley McCarthy back in the 6th inning. Only has 1 at-bat on the year. He walked, and that was in the first game of this series. He patiently lays off the breaking ball that ends up away from the plate, 1-1. He walked and came around to score back on March 10th. The 1-1 stays in the left-handed batter's box. Now everybody seemed to have played that day. He came in on a 2 RBI single by Henry Mensch. That's when Howard scored. Chases a high fastball here. Can't catch up to it. It'll be 2-2. Infield playing back. The freshman catcher at the plate. Now works himself to a full count. 3-2. Only his second at-bat of his college career. Got just enough of that one as it goes off the glove of Matt Ward. So we'll reset with a full count, 3-2. Laird gets set from the stretch, third base side. Howard check swing on an inside elevated pitch, and they're saying he went around. They appealed down to the first base umpire, and Howard goes down with a strikeout to start off the bottom of the 7th for Portland. Tough break for Howard. He thought it was ball 4, but the appeal down to first said he went around. Get a decent look at it right here, and even on that angle, it looks like he went around as that barrel went past the plate. So Ben Pataxel steps to the plate for the first time today. First pitch curveball at the knees, far side of the plate on Pataxel, makes it 0-1. This one in the dirt. Ward able to keep it in front of him. That'll even the count at 1-1. Pataxel, don't want to say struggling, but it's been a slow start for him on the season as that breaking ball actually catches him. And that's a team-high 9th time that he's been hit so far this season, which leads the West Coast Conference. And so the Pilots have a man aboard for Jake Holcroft, who has reached base all 3 times he's been to the plate. 2 singles, 1 run scored. He was left stranded at third back in the 3rd inning. His last time up, though, he walked in the 5th, was left stranded at second base. Middle infielders pinching towards the bag at second as Laird gives a fake throw over to first. Still only 3 hits on the day for Portland. 2 of them have come from Holcroft. As he takes off speed for a strike. Started at around 47 degrees today. Partly cloudy. The 0-1 in there for a strike on Holcroft, now behind 0-2. Currently 51 degrees. As you can see, partly cloudy, got some sunshine peeking through. And the wind still 6 to 7 miles an hour from home plate out to center field. Holcroft got one off the end of the bat towards left. Hutchins going towards the line will make the catch on the run. And there's 2 away for Portland here in the bottom of the 7th. So the first out recorded by Holcroft. And that brings up Jake Sukata, who was 1 for 2 today. Singled in the first, ground out in the 3rd to the second baseman. He did walk his last time up. Sukata has 5 RBI in this series. 4 for 11 at the plate coming into today. He also had 4 walks. So he's reached base 10 times in this series. 5 via hits, 5 via walks. He's also hit by a pitch. I believe it was twice. So he's actually reached base 12 times in this series. Takes the ball there, 1-1. Again, those infielders pinching in towards the bag at second. No chase from Sukata, that was blown away. The 2-1. Laird will come home with it. Slider, he wanted a chase from Sukata, he didn't. And now Sukata has a nice count of 3-1. Has a chance of reaching via the walk again. Pataxel's got a good lead over at first. Sukata takes the strike right there on the fastball from Laird. Full count now, 3-2. And with Laird's steady dose of breaking balls, I think Sukata was looking for one of those. Instead, he got a fastball. Now he's working with a full count. Has to protect the plate. Runner going, and ball 4 issued to Sukata. Laird thought that was strike 3, the way he got off the mound. Pataxel moves up to second. Sukata over to first, and that'll bring up Nick Klemp, who's looking for his first hit of the day. 0 for 3, an infield fly, ground out to short, and then a fly out into center field to Nick Groves. Was 4 for 10 coming into today on the series with 5 RBI and 3 walks. He's going to get a steady dose of breaking balls from Laird. This one will miss the zone, though. Starts out Klemp 1-0. Klemp sends this out of play to our right. It's nice to see the fans here embracing the sunlight, as we've seen umbrellas non-stop since this homestand started for the Pilots. Finally, a nice day that reaches above 50 degrees, even if it's only 51, as Ward had that ball pop out of his glove. So much so that even Coach Loomis not wearing his notable puffy coat that we're so used to seeing over in the third base coach's box. Just a windbreaker today. Here's the 2-1. The catcher, Klemp, takes strike 2, 1 at the knees. It's going to be 2-2. Briley Knight, who's supposed to hit next, looks like he's going to be pinch hit for by Christian Cooney, which would be his first appearance since he got hit in the helmet in game 1 from a pitch that hit the C-flap on the front part of his helmet. It was a scary moment. He's held out the last couple of days. In fact, I heard that he wasn't supposed to play the rest of the series, but with the game today being moved back an extra day, as all runners are going on the 3-2 count, it's issued a walk. And so Cooney will now come to the plate for Briley Knight. At third, it's going to be Pataxel. Second is Sukata, and Klemp now over at first as Christian Cooney comes for only his second at-bat in this series, the first one since he got plunked in the helmet. And now we're going to have a mound visit for Niagara. Laird wants something looked at. He might have the way he was holding up his hand towards his coach. Something's not right with his finger right now. And the umpire's actually looking at it himself out in front of the mound. And they are going to make a pitching change. Laird's day is going to be done. He was pitching pretty darn well for the Purple Eagles, but a couple of walks here and a hit batter has loaded up the bases in the bottom of the 7th inning with the Portland Pilots trailing 14-1. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Marty Cole now on the mound, replacing Zach Laird, who went 1 2/3 innings on 44 pitches, gave up 0 hits, but right now he's responsible for all 3 runners on base. It's Marty Cole, the sidearm right-handed thrower, delivers a first pitch ball to Christian Cooney, who's pinch hitting for Briley Knight. Cooney, high fly ball into center field, dropping back. It's Groves. He's near the warning track, and it goes off the wall. Pataxel scores easily. Sukata's in there next. Klemp will score from first, and a 3 RBI double for Christian Cooney. What a way to get back into this series after the way he left in game 1. Drives one off the wall in center field to bring in 3 runs. That was about belt high. In fact, he got underneath that one a little bit. The wind carried it all the way back as Groves misplays that one near the wall, but ends up in 3 runs for the Pilots. So Zach Tolia will come to the plate for his second at-bat. He reached on an error by the catcher his first time, and he'll actually get hit this time. So on 3 pitches, things have not gone well for Marty Cole. And now that'll bring up Henry Mensch, the right fielder for the Pilots. Mensch so far today is 0 for 3. Ground out, fly out, and a strikeout. As that soft pitch in there for a strike to start off Mensch, 0-1. Mensch fouls it off to our right and across the street. Now, even though the Pilots gave up 2 runs in the top of the 7th, they have responded with 3 runs now here in the bottom of the 7th to get that lead on the 7th inning. Corey and I are always talking about winning the inning. Even though you're not winning this game right now, as Mensch torches one down the line, and they're going to say that one went foul. Coach Loomis wanted that one to be fair, and it was tough. It was quick down that line at third. I had to peek around the edge of the pillar that's in front of me. I couldn't quite see it. But that's one that could have scored Cooney easily from second. But instead it's now 0-2 on Mensch. Strike 3 called on Mensch. He thought that was in the left-handed batter's box. He might have had a case for it. Instead, he goes down with his second strikeout looking today. 3 runs come in to score thanks to the 3 RBI double from Christian Cooney. The Pilots trail 14-4 as we head to the 8th. We'll be back on the WCC Network. See some of the clouds rolling in here at Joe Etzel Field as we start the top of the 8th inning. KJ Rufo back out on the mound as he goes up against Nate Milk. Milk is making his 3rd appearance at the plate. He's 0 for 2. He reached on an error in the 4th where he came around to score on a Max Giordano 2-run home run. And then his last time up, he flew out to Henry Mensch out in right field. Rufo missing high. on that last pitch. That'll make it 2-1 on Milk. Milk came into this series without a hit. He's still looking for that first hit on the season. The 3-1. Rufo bounces this one next to the plate. And so a leadoff walk for Nate Milk to start off this 8th inning.
The second baseman, number 18, Max Giordano.
Max Giordano now stepping to the plate. 2 for 4 today, 2 RBI with a home run and a double, 2 runs scored. The other 2 times that he did not reach base, he struck out in the first inning, and then he had a fly ball out to right field to Henry Mentz. This one gets away from Howard. He'll eat it, and Milk stays up on his feet over at second. Moves up on the wild pitch. Rufo, so much oomph on that last pitch, losing his hat. Off day for the Pilots at the plate. Only 4 hits and 4 runs to show for it after 37 runs in the first 3 games of this series, to go along with 38 hits. Look back at Milk, comes home with it on a slider, and Giordano works himself on with a 4-pitch walk. So back-to-back walks to open up the 8th inning for Rufo on the mound, as the Pilots are sending an arm over to the bullpen. Moving up to second, or already at second, is Milk, with Giordano now at first, and that brings up Cole Tucker, who's 2 for 3 today. RBI single in the first, a sacrifice bunt in the third, had a single in the fourth, and then a ground out in the 7th. It's now 6 straight balls by Rufo. Gets a slider in on the far side of the plate, about belt high. It'll be 1-1 now. Tucker was just 1 for 5 in this series before today. Squares to bunt with 2 runners on, puts the bunt down in front of the mound, fielded by Rufo, and a hop over to Tolia will get that out as both runners move up 90 feet. Milk now over at third, moving up to second is Giordano, as Tucker will be called out on the sacrifice bunt, his second of the day, and that'll bring up Vinny Morrow.
Number 24, Vinny Morrow.
Morrow 2 for 3 today with 4 RBI. He had a 3-run home run in the first, a sacrifice fly that brought in a run back in the third. And he reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth and a single in the 7th. Infield brought in for Portland with the runners on second and third. Slider in the left-handed box for a ball. 1-0 to start out Morrow. The 1-0. Swung on and missed by Morrow. Into the glove of Howard for a strike, 1-1. Foul ball off to our right. We'll reset with the 1-2 count on Morrow as he falls behind now. Infield still drawn in with the 1-2 count. 1-2 from Rufo. Chopper down the third baseline, but just goes foul before it reaches the bag. We'll reset with the 1-2 count. Couple of would-be birthdays today in the world of sports, as Kirby Puckett would be celebrating his 63rd birthday today, as he was born on this date in 1960. The Hall of Famer for the Minnesota Twins was born in Chicago, Illinois on this date. The 1-2. Morrow puts a drive into one into center field. Holcroft near the warning track in front of it. Stops, makes the catch. He'll come up throwing towards third. It's cut off by Pataxel. Actually, it'll roll all the way to Scavato. And a sacrifice fly for Morrow. Brings in his 5th RBI in the day. And it's now 15-4. Moving over to third is Giordano, so he's now 90 feet away from scoring. As Jake Hutchins comes to the plate. Hutchins has 1 hit today. Otherwise, he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 7th and then came around to score. Going back to our birthdays, Puckett was a 10-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and 6-time Gold Glove and Silver Slugger Award winner for the Minnesota Twins. The 1-0. Take it for a strike on Hutchins. It's now 1-1. He's the Minnesota Twins all-time hits, runs, and total bases leader. Unfortunately, his career was cut short as he was forced to retire in 1996 at the age of 36 because of loss of vision in one eye. Underneath this one, Holcroft dropping back. Now he's going to come in. Camps underneath it, makes the catch, and that will end the inning for Niagara. They do score 1 run thanks to a sacrifice fly by Vinny Morrow. His 5th RBI on the day pushes the lead to 15-4. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, it's the top of the lineup for the Pilots. We'll be right back on the WCC Network. Welcome back to Joe Etzel Field. Evan Scavato will lead things off for the Pilots in the bottom of the 8th inning. So there's a new arm on the mound. It's Adam Smith for Niagara. Smith has not made an appearance for the Purple Eagles this season. First pitch thrown to Scavato near the feet, far side of the plate. Starts him out 1-0. Well, Kobitovich went 5 innings, 57 pitches, only 3 hits, 1 earned run. Meanwhile, Zach Laird went 1 2/3 innings as Scavato check swing goes for a strike. It's 1-1. But Laird went 1 2/3 on 44 pitches, 0 hits, but he gave up 3 earned runs thanks to a hit batter and 2 walks. He had 2 strikeouts and 2 walks as well. Scavato chasing the low pitch. 1-2 now. Smith, a redshirt freshman, previously at Oral Roberts. 6'2" right-hander, comes from Keller, Texas. Scavato got out ahead of that one. Fielded by Desjardins as short, and he had to throw across his body. No way he would have gotten Scavato. And that'll be an infield single for him, his 4th hit in this series. First hit of the day for Scavato, as that'll bring up Tyler Howard. Howard struck out his last time up at the plate on a check swing. His only other at-bat in a Pilot uniform, he walked. So this will be the 3rd time at the plate in his Pilot career. And Howard has himself his first hit as a Portland Pilot. And so the first 2 runners are now aboard for Portland. Back-to-back singles, as that'll bring up Ben Pataxel, who got hit by a pitch in his last at-bat.
The shortstop, number 11, Ben Pataxel.
Six hits today. 2 of them have come from the last 2 batters. 2 of them have come from the leadoff man, Jake Holcroft, who's the next man up, as Pataxel twists out of the way of an inside pitch for a ball, 1-0. Otherwise, Sukata had a bunt single back in the 1st, and Christian Cooney had that 3 RBI double as a pinch hitter in the 7th. Pataxel takes ball 2, 2-0. Holcroft on deck. And Pataxel got plunked again. 10th time this season that's happened to him. He's a ball magnet. So now the bases are loaded, nobody out. And Jake Holcroft, the man who's reached base 3 different times, he's got 2 hits today. 1 run scored. He has been left stranded on base twice.
The center fielder, number 4, Jake Holcroft.
As Max Giordano, the second baseman, comes to the mound to talk to his redshirt freshman pitcher. Scavato at 3rd, Howard at 2nd, Pataxel's at 1st as the first pitch to Holcroft. High above the letters and away from the left-handed bat, 1-0. Holcroft looking for his 6th hit in this series. I think he has it right here into left center field, and that one will drop. Scavato will score from 3rd. Howard sent from 2nd. Pataxel rounds 3rd. Holcroft is looking for a triple, and he's got it. A 3 RBI triple for Jake Holcroft. Have yourself a day. 4th time reaching base, 3rd hit. As he drives in 3 on a ball hit into the left center field gap. And what else does he do except takes a ball that's away from him and hits it to the opposite field?
Number 7, Jake Sukata.
So the Pilots still trailing by 8 runs, but have put up 6 runs over the last 2 innings. Still no outs right now. And they're actually saying that Holcroft is out at 3rd. Sukata with a 1-0 count. Now dealing with 2-0. Two and 1 now on Sukata. Sukata taking strike 2. Sukata gets one off the end of the bat. Smith will field it off the mound at first, and he will be thrown out. Now, there's some confusion right now because Holcroft was supposed to be at third,
The designated hitter, number 13.
as Nick Klemp now comes to the plate. And originally I thought Holcroft was in there safely for a triple. And unless he popped up off the bag and they still had the tag applied, I'm not sure why he's not over there right now. We don't have an explanation, as Klemp will come to the plate now with one out after the Sukata ground out. Breaking ball to Klemp for a strike, evens the count at 1-1. The 1-1 to the catcher, Klemp. Breaking ball, got underneath it. It's going to be popped up into shallow left field. And the center fielder will come in, and Nick Groves, and makes the catch, and that'll be the final out of the inning. As we head to the ninth, the final frame of this one, it's going to be Desjardins leading things off for the Purple Eagles, and then Groves and Ward when we return on the WCC Network. Top of the ninth inning here at Joe Etzel Field, the final frame of this series between Niagara and the Portland Pilots. Zach Johnson is on the mound. KJ Rufo's day is done after an inning and a third of work. On 28 pitches, he gave up 1 earned run, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. Johnson, the freshman pitcher from Westland, Oregon, went to Lake Ridge High School. Shown up in limited work so far this season as he delivers a strike. It's now 2-1. Check swing from Desjardins. Doesn't matter. Called strike. I'll make it a 2-2 count. Pitched against Utah Valley in the home openers. 2-2. Just missing off the plate. Now a full count. And then he did pitch 4 innings in game 1 of this series back on the 10th, in which he went 4 innings, giving up 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 1 walk. And here he issues a leadoff walk for Brady Desjardins to start off this 9th inning. And now we go to the top of the lineup to Nick Groves, who's been manning center field all weekend for the Purple Eagles. He's reached base 4 times today out of 5 possible at-bats. He's got a single, which drove in a run, and 3 walks to go along with his ground out to short. Slider at the knees, inside part of the plate for a strike. It's 0-1. Big swing and a miss on the off speed by Groves. He chased on an outside pitch. It's 0-2. Lays off of that one. It'll make it 1-2. Wind blowing straight out towards center field. We've got 6 to 7 mile an hour winds today. That flag still moving. The 1-2. Ground ball hit over to short, taken by Pataxel. Over to Sukata for 1. The relay throw in time for the double play. And 2 gone here in the top of the 9th on the 6-4-3.
The catcher, number 39, Matt Ward.
Matt Ward will come to the plate now. Ward with 2 hits, 2 RBI on the day. Doesn't get much easier than that on that ground ball double play for Pataxel and Sukata. Johnson delivers first pitch, breaking ball for a strike on Ward. Far side of the plate, drops near thigh high. It's 0-1. Johnson fastball, missing high and away. Evens the count at 1-1. Big swing and a miss from Ward, makes it 1-2. Big swing and a miss again by Ward. And that's a 1-2-3 inning thanks to the double play turned by Pataxel and Sukata. As we head to the bottom of the 9th inning, the final 3 outs for Portland. It's going to be Klemp, Cooney, and Tolia coming to the plate on the WCC Network. Bottom of the 9th inning, the final 3 outs for the Portland Pilots. As Christian Cooney set to lead things off for Portland. He had a 3 RBI double in his pinch hitting appearance. Here he has a big league pop-up on the right side of the infield. Giordano Took one step into shallow right field, and that's all he needed to get the out on Cooney. One away to start off the bottom of the ninth.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 28.
And in reference to what happened on Jake Holcroft's 3 RBI triple that he had, the reason why he was not on the bag at third as Talia takes ball 1 to start off this at-bat is because he missed the bag at second. And so he was called out there. Talia chasing a high fastball, evens the count at 1-1. So he missed the bag at second as he slid in head first at third. It didn't matter. He was called out after the appeal. And that is why Holcroft was not at third to end the bottom of the 8th inning as Talia takes ball 2. Bit of a strange play. It happened so quickly. We saw him slide into third, and the next thing you knew, he was off the base paths. Talia, one hopper back into center field, and a 1-out single for the Pilots. It would take a lot to get back into this one, as Justin Sukata will pinch hit for Henry Mensch, who's 0 for 4 today after going 6 for 10 through the first 3 games of this series. Fly ball into left field. Hutchins takes a few steps in, and he'll make the catch, 2 away, as Sukata's retired on the first pitch that he sees. So Pilots are down to their final out. It was supposed to be Evan Scavato. We'll see if we have a pinch hitter come to the plate. Nope, it'll be all Scavato it's Gabe Villaflor who comes to the plate.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now batting for Portland, number 22, Gabe Villaflor.
Villaflor limited action in his season plus with the Pilots. Has 2 at-bats in his career. He actually swings and it makes contact with the umpire, and he's going to need a moment. He is hurting. Trainer for the Pilots, Chris Jackson's going to come out. The manager for Niagara is going to come out. Coach Loomis is coming from his third base coach's box. And it happened so quickly. I saw the bat leave the hand of Villaflor, but didn't see where it hit the umpire, as he really seems to be hurting after that last swing. Tossed his mask, and right now he's down to 1 knee. And it looks like Chris Jackson running some type of test on him right now. We're going to take a quick break. We'll return 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Pilots trailing 15-7. We'll be back on the WCC Network. We welcome you back to Joe Etzel Field after that brief delay with the home plate umpire, who got hit with the bat from Gabe Villaflor. Those two, though, shared a brief moment, letting everybody know they're okay. As Villaflor will take a ball on that inside pitch to even the count at 1-1. 2 outs to Leo over at first. About out of play to our right. In fact, during that break, Villaflor able to get, I don't know if it was necessarily pine tar, but got something to add some stickiness to the bat for him for his grip. So that doesn't happen again. Here's the 1-2, check swing. And they're saying he went around. Most anticlimactic ending to the game right there, and they were waiting for the tag by Matt Ward, and that will do it. The Pilots strand the runner over at first, and a 15-7 win for Niagara over the Portland Pilots as they salvage a game in this series. But the Pilots take it 3-1. If you're looking for more Pilot baseball, you won't have to wait long. They're back in action on the 17th against Pepperdine at 6 p.m. right here on the WCC Network. I'm Brian Slyke. Thank you to the production crew. You guys always do a great job. Until next time on the WCC Network. Giordano and Marquesa. Bunt down the left, or down the third baseline, excuse me. Sukata running down the line, and he's safe. He ran a hard 90, beat the throw from Vinny Morrow, and an infield single by Joe center field. Big strikeout right there by Hebert to get the first. Gets a strikeout right there. Giordano. Right there. Giordano and Mark.